Hello. I just came back from a walk and thought I would try and film this video about why I stopped posting on my channel even before it even barely just got started. So I do have some notes, so pardon me if I keep looking down there, but I'll do my best to keep eye contact with you. So found Carnivore earlier this year, decided to start doing it in June, and soon after, out of, I don't want to say fear, but just out of concern that my blood sugars don't go too low, blood pressure doesn't go too low, etc., I took myself off my medications. And I've been monitoring them. Blood sugars are starting to elevate a little bit again, but I'm not overly concerned unless I don't get this eating under control. So for the time being, things are good. So the other reason first of all, I've been gaining weight, not because of Carnivore. Couple of reasons which I'll address in this video. Secondly, I've been struggling with binging on junk food. So before my channel even got a chance to take off, I quit posting videos. I do have some videos that I did, but I'm probably not even going to post those. So the binging, I thought it was because of in response to different situations that were happening, stressed at work, dealing with my father's situation, trauma that I'm only realizing that I have. But then I saw a video about the drug Ozempic on YouTube, and my conclusion is the doctors aren't there to help me right now. I had a doctor. In fact, I don't even have a doctor at the moment. I had a doctor and he wasn't willing to work with me. He thought I was an idiot for trying to do intermittent fasting. I read a book by Jason Fung called The Obesity Code, and later I read his book, The Diabetes Code, and that just opened my eyes to a whole bunch of things like intermittent fasting, keto, and there was some mention of carnivore, but it didn't stick, because it wasn't until more recently this year that I started looking or heard more about carnivore and started looking into it. So I also saw a video called Ozempic is Literally a Scam by Evil Food Supply. If I remember, I will put the link to that video down below. But basically, that's when I figured out why I was having issues. So just a little background, I started Ozempic in the spring of 21, and immediately my blood sugars went down and weight started coming off, and plus I was doing OMAD, 1 meal a day, and intermittent fasting, IF, and I wasn't hungry. I wasn't hungry to eat more than 1 meal a day. So, it was working for me. It was suppressing my appetite, and I lost pretty much 30 pounds. I still wanted to lose another 10 to 15. But then the weight stalled. I stalled out at about 143. Occasionally I would get down to 140, but I kind of hung out at about 142, 143 for probably 6 to 9 months that I hung out there. And then late summer last year or so. But this year, early on, my weight started to go up, and I was starting to have binging episodes. And mistakenly, I attributed them to dealing with my father or other family members that are toxic for me. So, yeah. So anyway, then I found Carnivore in the spring. I started that, and I was doing all right. And then I stopped taking Ozempic in June and continued trying to do Carnivore. Then the weight and the binging increased in frequency and total weight amount. I've gained 20 pounds since coming off Ozempic. Actually, the weight started coming on earlier this year, like I said, but more frequently or with an increased velocity in the last 2 months. I've noticed it really coming up in September, October. So, the other thing that's happened is for a brief time, I did experience some relief from joint pain, my arthritis. I have osteoarthritis. And that went away when I was actually doing well on Carnivore. And then in the last 2 months, or in the last couple of weeks, it's come back with a vengeance. The other morning, my hands were in so much pain. Usually I do this when I'm sleeping, and I try to force my hands open, but this one morning, my hands were like this, and I couldn't bend my finger. It really hurt to bend my fingers. So, I'm like I said in my little short video earlier this week, I am very angry because the doctors are supposed to put you on the drugs to help you, not hurt you. And that's what I feel like has happened to me. Now, whether I can't say they did it intentionally, but I'm so tired of doctors putting you on medications that cause other problems. They're trying to fix one problem and they end up causing 4 or 5 other problems, and then you're taking medications to deal with those problems, and then there's problems from those medications. So it just kind of a snowball effect. So I am trying really hard not to go back on any medications. I don't want that. I'm almost 60. I don't want to be on medications for the rest of my life. Whatever that is, 20, 30 years. I don't want to be on medication for the next 20, 30 years. Not to mention that I'm going to have a limited income. I'm not going to have, when I retire, I'm not going to have the health plans that I have while I'm working. So how am I going to afford these medications? They're not cheap. Certainly not. Ozempic is like the most expensive medication I've ever been on. And I think that's a tragedy. The other thing is, I'm not going to be a slave to those things. I'm just not going to. That's it. I know Carnivore can help me. Even for a brief month and a half that I was doing it well, I experienced relief and I was doing well. I was sleeping better. I wasn't getting the plaque on my teeth that I do when I'm eating junk food. My joints weren't hurting. My hips, I went for a walk this afternoon after on my lunch. Well, it is my lunch break right now, but after my lunch, and I did well. I had a hamburger. I brought my hamburger and I ate it and I was fine. I wasn't hungry. And then the guy that has the Lindt chocolates across from me was away from his desk and nobody could see me take, and I had 3 chocolates. I'm so mad at myself for that. But anyway, I know Carnivore can help me. I've experienced it even for just a short period of time. And I hear about so many other people who are experiencing the relief and the benefits that Carnivore can do for all of us. So I am working. I'm down a pound and a bit this morning. Blood sugars are still 9-ish, the Canadian measurement. But I know I can get that down. So, one of the things I learned in that video, who was that again? What was that again? Sorry, apologize. Oh yeah, Ozempic is literally a scam by Evil Food Supply. When I saw that video, I learned why I'm putting weight on, why I'm having trouble. Because apparently Ozempic causes what is it? It produces GLP-1, but it's not your body producing the GLP-1 that you need to signal your brain when you are full. And they compared it to testosterone replacement therapy. If you start taking I think it's synthetic testosterone, but if you start taking the therapy, then your body stops producing testosterone, and then you need to keep taking that in order to keep having testosterone. And the same thing happens with this GLP-1. The signal, the hormone to signal your brain that you're full. Your body stops producing it. So I'm like, okay. If Ozempic is producing the GLP-1 for me, and my body's no longer producing it, if I go off it, no wonder I gain weight, because I don't have that signal to tell me. I can feel it, but I'm still eating. I can feel obnoxiously, burstingly full and still continue eating. And just can't, I don't know why, but I just can't stop when I'm doing it. Anyway, the other thing I noticed when I was on Ozempic, and it started back before Ozempic, when I was on metformin, I started having run to the bathroom moments, and it was like, forgive me for the graphic, but it was like peeing out my butt. So that subsided a little bit when I came off the metformin, and I forget what other drug I took before Ozempic, and then the Ozempic, and I was still having that run to the bathroom, or I need a bathroom instantly moment. And I still had it, but it only ever happened on the weekend, which is really inconvenient when you're out running errands. Anyway, the other concern I had, or have noticed, is that I seem to have more fat around my calves. Now, I've been happy about it. Had very muscular looking calves. I haven't put any fat on there, but more recently the skin is looser there, and I can pinch. And one of the things this video brought out was that you can experience loss of muscle on this Ozempic drug. So I have a concern with that. Not to mention that some other areas, hate to say it, I think there's been muscle loss there too. I also have a problem getting up off the floor. I had that before, but not to the extent of this. Like, I'm literally trying to get off the floor like a child, or my husband has to help me off the floor. So I don't sit on the floor. And I noticed too that I don't feel as strong as I was before Ozempic. I used to carry cases of water, and yeah, it was heavy, but it didn't, you know, I didn't feel like it was hard to do, but now it's hard to do. Anyway, so let's see, the muscles, oh, and the fat that has come back is very different than it was when I lost it. The fat that I lost before, but I've also noticed that with any weight loss period that I've had in my life, and I've had a few of them. I've been up and down more times than a yo-yo. But anyway, this time it's come back, and it's a different kind of fat, and it's sitting differently, and it makes the clothes look horrible on. So anyway, and I apologize if I say anyway too much. I apologize. I'm just trying to get through this list of things that I wanted to cover in this video because I am so choked, so upset, so disappointed that so another thing that I've noticed, this is important too, because I went through menopause in my late 40s. So I've been postmenopausal for a decade. And the thing, but I've always had my hot flashes, but not like I have since I come off Ozempic. It's a full-on body sweat. Okay, like it's ridiculous, and I can feel when they're coming on. So fortunately, I have a fan at my desk, and I have fans all over at home, so I can, when I feel them coming on, I can put them on, and that usually prevents them from becoming full-blown sweats. But there's times when I just don't have a fan and it's just a full-blown sweat fest. So there's that. Something I'm going to look more into is, and I've heard this in videos and I've read this somewhere, but I'm going to look into fixing my gut health, because I think hormones are generated or created in our stomachs or intestines. I'm not a doctor. Let me just get that out there too, because I am not a doctor. I am not recommending anything. I'm not recommending you come off your drugs. I'm not recommending you do carnivore. I'm just telling you what my experience is right now with Ozempic, coming off Ozempic, and doing carnivore. I've already done intermittent fasting, and I am going to do my best to do that more frequently and strategically and strictly. So, again, I'm not recommending anything for you. In the words of Tim Holtz, he's a maker, crafter at Ranger Inc. Anyway, you can Google, YouTube him, and find his videos. He makes stuff. But anyway, in the words of Tim Holtz, you do you. You have to figure out what works for you. As I am trying to figure out what is going to work for me, so that I can get this weight off and keep it off. Okay, so I got that off my chest about the hot flushes. And I'm going to do, like I said, look into hormones and see if I can replace that. Because quite honestly, when my stomach is upset, I feel like something is off. And if I could just get that under control, everything else would fall into place. So I will be looking into hormones and getting my gut health fixed. So again, going forward, I'm going to go back to OMAD, intermittent fasting, and eat what I do. When I do eat, it's going to be carnivore. It's going to be beef, bacon, butter, and eggs, and that's it. I might try lion, but that's far too strict for me right now, and I already feel like I'm missing out with carnivore, and it's only a mental, I gotta do some mental shifting in order to be able to succeed at carnivore, much less doing a lion diet. So the other thing, dairy. I think I might be sensitive to dairy. I am not a coffee drinker, and yet for some reason I can't give up my coffee. I hate coffee, and the only reason I'm drinking coffee is because I've been putting pancake syrup into my coffee because it changes the flavor of the coffee. Without it, I'm not going to drink coffee. So it should be easy to give up the coffee. But I like the flavor that the pancake syrup creates with the mix of the coffee. So I'm going to have to work on that. So there you go. The other thing, please like, subscribe, and do all those fancy things that people do. If you like my video, great. Please, thank you. I'm not going to bug you guys to do that very often, and I'm not doing fancy videos. This is what you get. Okay, I'm not editing. I might in future go in and take out some ums and pauses, etc. But for the most part, this is me. This is what you're gonna get. I don't have time for all that right now. I work full time, and like I said, I have to take care. I don't visit him often because he lives in Vancouver and I live elsewhere, and it's quite a commute to go and visit him, but I still have to deal with that, among other things. So maybe when I retire, if that happens, or even semi-retire, I will start doing better videos. But bear with me and take me as I am. This is what you get. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you have any suggestions on what you're doing to help yourself, tips on how to get over the cravings and the binging and the what have you, please comment below, and I will do my best to get back to you. At least like it. All right? Thank you very much, and we will talk to you guys again soon. Bye for now.